Hi everybody, it's Tuesday the 23rd of February and this is your math lesson for today, and we are looking at subtracting fractions. For this you're just going to need paper and pencils. There's not going to be need for any equipment. You might want to draw fraction bars to help you for some of the lessons, but most of this is again going to need you and your times table skills. So begin with, here's your 4 a day. Pause the video, have a go, and then your answers will follow. Here are your answers. Have a look and see how you did. If you made any mistakes, can you work out where those mistakes were? And then we'll get going with our get ready questions. We've got 3 get ready questions coming up. Pause the video, have a go at these, and then your answers will come after. Okay, let's have a look. Question number 1. It says 3/5 take away 2/5. And this is quite a simple one because our denominator is the same. We're just going to do 3/5 take away 2/5, which equals 1/5. For question number 2, we have 5/9 subtract 1/3. And we can see the denominators are not the same, so we need to think, what can we change to make our denominators the same? And we can change our 1/3 into 3/9 by multiplying by 3. So now we're doing 5/9 take away 3/9, which is 2/9. And for question number 3, it was complete the addition pyramid. A number is the sum of the 2 numbers below. So you can see at the bottom 1/5 add 1/10 equals 3/10. But we've got to do the inverse to find these missing parts of the pyramid. So for the first one, we're going to do 1 whole take away 3/10. Now what we might have to do is convert our 1 whole into tenths. And 1 whole is the same as 10/10. So now we're doing 10/10 take away 3/10 to find that missing block, and that would be 7/10. Now to find the last one, we would do 7/10 take away 1/5 to find this missing one. But again, our denominators are not the same. So what we should have done was converted 1/5 into 2/10. Now we're doing 7/10 take away 2/10 is 5/10. And just for a little quick thing, what would 5/10 be as an equivalent fraction? It would be a half. Well done if you managed those. Now we're going to get going with the main part of our lesson, looking at subtracting fractions. To begin with, we've got this fraction question here. We've got 3/4 subtract 3/8. Now it's difficult for this one because our denominators are not the same. We can see we have our 3/4 of our fraction bar, and we need to subtract 3/8 from this. Now that's quite tricky to do, so have a think, what could we do with the fraction bar to make it easier? What could we change one of these fractions to make it easier? I'll give you 5 seconds to have a think. The first thing we could have done was changed our fraction bar into eighths. So instead of having 3/4, we've multiplied 3/4 by 2 to change it to eighths. So now we have 6/8. So now we're looking at our question 6/8 subtract 3/8. If we have our 6/8 that are shaded and we subtract 3 of those 6/8, what do we have left? We've got 3/8. So that's the method that we can use to subtract a fraction from another fraction when it's different denominators. So your turn now. How would you do this one? 9/15 subtract 1/5. Pause the video and have a go. Let's have a look and see. So we've got 9/15 subtract 1/5. We have different denominators and our fraction bar is in 15ths and 9 of them are shaded. What would we have to have converted? We would have had to have converted our 1/5 by multiplying by 3 to 3/15. So now we're doing 9/15 subtract 3/15. And there we've taken away our 3/15, which has left us with 6/15, which we can convert as an equivalent fraction to 2/5. This time what we've got to do is we are matching. We've got 3 subtraction fractions on the left and we've got to match them to what the answer would be on the right side. So for example, for the first one, we can see we've got 5/6 subtract 12/18. And again, we would have to convert our 5/6 into 15/18 by multiplying by 3. Now that we've managed to do that, which calculation does it match to on the right? And it would be that one there, so our line would be drawn. So have a think, can you match up the remaining two? 7/8 take away 1/16. What would you have to do to make that a subtraction question possible? What would you change? Because the denominators are not the same. And you have 9/10 subtract 1/5. Which fraction would you change so the denominators are the same? Pause the video and see if you can match those last two. Let's have a look and see. Well, for the first one, it was a bit of a trick question. We could have changed 7/8 to 14/16, but that option isn't there on the right hand side, and what we would have to have then done was actually changed it to 32. 28 32s, take away 2 32s, which was that one there, leaving us with 9/10, take away 1/5. 1/5 we can change by multiplying by 2 to 2/10, and then that would have matched to that one there. Well done if you managed to do that. Coming up now, just looking at those two types of questions and the skills we've just looked at are some questions for you to try. So again, pause the video and then have a go at the questions and your answers will follow. With these ones, you've got to complete the subtractions using the bar models to help you. So here we can see we've got 5/6 take away a half, and here we've got our fraction bar, which has been partitioned into sixths. But what you're going to have to do with these two fractions here, which one are you going to change so the denominators are the same so that you can work it out? Pause the video and have a go. Here are your answers. So 5/6 take away a half, we could have multiplied by 3 to change a half to 3/6. 5/6 take away a half is the same as 2/6 or 1/3. Either way would have been the right answer. For the question 2, 5/6 again, this time taking away a third. Now a third we would have multiplied by 2 to change it to 6, so we were doing 5/6 take away 2/6, which is 3/6, which is the same as a half. And then question C, 7/8 take away 3/4. Again we would have changed our 3/4 to 8 by timesing by 2. 7/8 take away 6/8 equals 1/8. And then we had a half, take away 3/8. And we should have converted 1/2 into 8 by timesing by 4 to 4/8. 4/8 take away 3/8 equals 1/8. Here's another question for try. It says match the equivalent fractions, just like we did before, but we need to have a look now which ones would match up. And again, if we look at the first one, we've got 3/4 take away 3/20. Which one are we going to have to change so we've got the same denominators? What are you going to multiply by, knowing your times tables? Pause the video and have a go. Here are your answers. Have a look and see how you did. Here we've got this question. It says Jack walks 7/9 of a kilometre to school. Aisha walks 2/3 of a kilometre to school. How much further does Jack walk than Aisha? So have a think. What information do you know? We know that Jack walks 7/9 of a kilometre. Aisha walks 2/3 of a kilometre, and that important language, how much further? What calculation will you have to do to find that out? Pause the video and have a go. Let's have a look and see what we should have done. The calculation we had to do was 7/9 subtract 2/3. Now to do that we would have had to have multiplied by 3 and change our 2/3 to 6/9. Then we would have done 7/9, take away 6/9. Jack walks 1/9 of a kilometre further than Aisha. Let's have a look at this question together. On Monday, Whitney reads for 4/7 of an hour. On Tuesday, she reads for 3/14 of an hour less than on Monday. For how long does Whitney read on Monday and Tuesday all together? So we know that on Monday, Whitney reads that much, and on Tuesday she reads that much. So we're going to use the bar model to help us. She reads 4/7 on Monday, and we know that she reads 3/14 less than on a Tuesday. So have a think. How could we find out how long does Whitney read on Monday and Tuesday all together? What do we need to find out first? If she reads for 3/14 less, how much does she read on Tuesday? Have a think. How would you find that out? Pause the video and have a go. Let's have a look and see. Well, we know that she reads on Monday 4/7 and on Tuesday 3/14 less. So we had to have done 4/7 take away 3/14 to find out how much she would have read on Tuesday. And we can convert by times in by 2, 4/7, change it to 8/14. Now 8/14 take away 3/14 is 5/14. So now we know she reads 5/14 on a Tuesday. But the question was, for how long does Whitney read on Monday and Tuesday all together? So if it's all together, what calculation should we have done? We should have added them together. So we should have then done 4/7 add 5/14, which is the same as 8/14, add 5/14, which is 13/14. Well done if you managed to do that one. Don't worry if you didn't. Let's have a look at this question now. It says, what is the difference between 7/10 and 1/5? We've got that word there. What is the difference? And when we have to find the difference in something, we have to subtract. And let's have a look at it on a number line this time. So we have 0 here, and we have 1, and it has been split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. So each of these lines, these markers, is worth 1/10. So we can start by converting 1/5 to 2/10 by timesing by 2. So now we have two fractions with the same denominator to find the difference between. And we can put 7/10 on our number line and then 2/10 on a number line. Can we find out what would the difference be? And we can count from 2/10 up to 7/10, or put 7/10 and count back 2/10, and the answer would be 5/10, which is the same as a half. Have a go yourself now. If you want to, you can draw a number line to help you. What is the difference between 2/3 and 3/9? Pause the video and have a go. What will you change so you have the same denominator? Where would they go on this number line with each marker representing ninths? What would your answer be? First of all, we could change 2/3 to 6/9. So now we're finding what the difference between 6/9 and 3/9. 6/9 on our number line would go on this marker, 3/9 would go here, and the difference would be 3/9, which is the same as a third. Well done if you managed to do that one. To finish now, we've got some questions again for you to try by yourself. You need to pause the video and have a go at those questions. Complete the subtractions. So on this side, we've got different fractions subtracting 1/16. And on this side, we're looking at fractions subtracting 21s. So when you have answered those questions, it says at the bottom, what do you notice when you're looking at your answers or looking at your questions? What things do you notice are happening? Pause the video and have a go. Well, let's have a look and see. First of all, we knew that we would have to have changed our eighths into 16ths by timesing by 2. You can see in the orange what those equivalent fractions would have been, and we can check our answers. But what do you notice? What things did you notice with your answers? Well, if we notice we had 13/16, 9/16, 5/16, 1/16, and they were decreasing by 4/6 each time. And when we were doing that with our questions, when we converted our questions, they were also decreasing by 4/16 each time. And then when we looked at our questions on this side, we should have changed our sevenths to 21s by multiplying by 3. In the orange, you can see this is what we should have converted them to. And again, we're going 16 21s to 11 21s is a difference of 5 21s, then subtracting 5 21s, subtracting 5 21s again. So that might have been a pattern that you noticed. Here we have another problem to try. It says, on Saturday, Alex cycles for 2/3 of an hour. On Sunday, she cycles for 5/12 of an hour. How many more hours does Alex cycle on Saturday than Sunday? So what things will you need to know here? You need to know how long Alex cycles for and how long she cycles for on both days. Also, it says 2/3 of an hour. Have a think. What do you think you will need to know to be able to answer that question? And the second part, it says how many more minutes does Alex cycle on Saturday than Sunday? Pause the video and have a go at this question. Well, let's see. On Saturday, Alex cycles for 2/3 of an hour. On Sunday, she cycles for 5/12 of an hour. So how many more hours does Alex cycle on Saturday than Sunday? So we should have done 2/3 subtract 5/12. And we should have multiplied by 4 to turn our 2/3 into 8/12, and then done 8/12, take away 5/12, which equals 3/12, and 3/12 is the same as a quarter of an hour. Then it says for part B, how many more minutes does Alex cycle on Saturday than Sunday? And if it is a quarter of an hour, what would that be in minutes? And we can see here with our bar model, 1 whole hour is 60 minutes. So half an hour would be 30 minutes, and then so quarter of an hour would be 15 minutes. Well done if you managed to do that one. This one now we're going to have a look at. It says here are some fraction cards, and they are all different. Part A, which two fractions have a difference of a quarter? Part B, which two fractions have a difference of a half? And C, which two fractions have a difference of 1/12? So you've got to find the difference, aiming to find a particular answer. So there's a few things here you're going to need to think about. If we've got to find the difference of a quarter, what else do we know a quarter is as a fraction? Is there anything else? What could you write down to help yourself? Also, your fraction cards, all of the denominators are the same. What could you change them to so that you've got the same denominator to make it easier for yourself? So there's a lot of things to try here and a lot of things to do before you even start to work out your questions for A, B and C. Once you've done those, pause the video, have a go. Let's have a look and see how we did. So to begin with, we could have written down and changed our fraction cards all to twelfths. So we can see in red, 1/3 is 4/12, the same as 5/6 is the same as 10/12. A half is the same as 6/12. We have 11/12, and 3/4 is the same as 9/12. Then the first question, it says, which two fractions have a difference of a quarter? And what we could have written down as well is, what is a quarter in twelfths? We could have written it down as 2/8. 3/12 is the same as a quarter. Then what two fractions have a difference? It could have been 3/4, 9/12, take away 6/12 equals 3/12. Or 3/4, take away a half equals a quarter. And the same again, which two fractions have a difference of a half? We could have written down what our equivalent fractions of a half would have been to get to our half, which is 6/12. And then we can see 10/12, take away 4/12 is 6/12, which is the same as 5/6, take away 1/3. And then for part C, which two fractions have a difference of 1/12? There, give two possible pairs. An example could have been 11/12 take away 5/6, or 5/6 take away 3/4. You may have found some other possibilities as well. Well done if you managed to answer that one. But you can see how important it is to write things down to help us. Let's have a look at this question. It says the perimeter of the rectangle is 14/15 of a meter. Work out the missing length. So you need to work out how long is this length here. You already know that it's 1/3, and we want to find the perimeter of the rectangle for this missing length. Pause the video and have a think. What things will you need to know? What things do you know from your question that you can use to help you? Let's have a look and see. Well, if we knew that this length was 1/3 of a meter, we could have changed that to 15ths. So it was 5/15 of a meter. If this length is 5/15 of a meter, then so is this length going to be 5/15 of a meter. And we could have added those together to get 10/15. And then to find out our widths here and here, we could have done 14/15, take away 10/15 equals 4/15. So this width and this width together are 4/15. Then we would have had to have divided 4/15 by 2 to find out that one length, which was 2/15. Well done if you managed to answer that one. Here's a bit of an extra challenge for you, and this is more of an open-ended question for you to try by yourself. You've got odd one out. You have 3 questions here. So here we have a half, add 7/8. 2 wholes, take away 10/16, and 3/4 add 7/16. So this is a bit more of a challenge for you. And the question is, explain which answer is the odd one out. Now this is an open-ended question for you just to investigate by yourself. What could the odd one out be? It doesn't have to specifically be just one. You think of different reasons why each fraction could be the odd one out. It might be different reasons. For example, one of them, the answer is less than a half when all the others are greater than a half. It might be that one of the answers is an improper fraction, a mixed number, where the other ones are not. It might be that they all have the same denominator, but one doesn't. You need to have a look and think, what could the odd one out be, and how you can decide what it is. Pause the video and have a go with that one. And that concludes the end of our lesson for today. And again, if you want to continue practicing your understanding of fractions, then you can go to the MathsFrame website, click on the fractions and decimals, and look for these 4 activities, which again will help you. So there is some adding fractions with the same denominator, adding and subtracting fraction practice if you want to try. And again, if you want to look at converting your improper fractions, or you want to practice converting, finding equivalent fractions, lots of activities there for you to try. Well done for today, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.